Hey friends, Peggy Hall back with you from thehealthyamerican.org. I did a video previously where I shared with you what an amazing Healthy American is doing. Karen in Colorado, she buys this pocket constitution, she prints out little postcards, or actually business card sized cards, and she leaves these information cards with tips on how to fight tyranny. She gives them to people, she strikes up conversations, and it put me in mind to share with you additional ways, simple actions that you can take today to make a difference. I would say the most common question I get on this channel is, Peggy, what can we do about it? It being the oppression, the tyranny, the hogwashing that we all have been experiencing, that they've inflicted upon us over the last several years. And I remember getting a question in particular from a Healthy American saying, Peggy, how do we stop the UN and, from taking over our country? And I thought, there's a better question. And the question is, how can I continue to live in liberty? How can I live in truth and freedom, even when the oppressors are out there breathing down my neck? We can only do what we have control over. And you have control over these things that I'm going to share with you in just a moment. So I'm going to share the list that I came up with, and I want to hear from you actions that you are taking. Actions are empowering. When we sit around and complain, we are feeding the evil. We are giving in, giving up, and giving over our freedom by feeling as if there's nothing left that we can do, that they have the upper hand. Well, there are things that are in your control that are not in your control. And if you would like more encouragement along these lines, I do have another channel on YouTube called Living Swell with Peggy Hall. It is all about positive encouragement and improving your physical, mental, emotional health. So join me over there if you would like to hear more of those positive messages. For now, let's talk about some can-do actions that make a difference. All right, these are things, I did these things today, all right? Simple things that you can do that don't cost a dime, changes that you can make that I believe make a difference. Number one, I do my banking in person. Maybe you already do that, but this, where's my cell phone? I don't even have it near me. Oh, yes, I do. Here's my cell phone. So these cell phones can do all sorts of things, like you can do your banking, you can pay for things. And I don't do that. I do it in person. So number one, I bank in person. I want to know the tellers. I want them to know me. I want to do those transactions so they're not going to become all electronic, because you know where they're going with this. They want to eliminate human beings in some of these service-oriented jobs and have it all be done by AI. So right along with that, let me just throw in, I use cash as much as possible. I am cash-oriented. Cash is king. And I've done videos on this channel about the federal government trying to take away your ability to pay in cash at the national parks. It's almost like they're testing the waters to see if people are going to go along with it. And thank goodness they're not. In fact, there's a lawsuit. I'll bring that to your attention about a woman who was suing the federal government for not taking her cash at these national parks. Friends, these are actions that we can take. It doesn't need a petition. Well, that does need a lawsuit, and not everybody has a stomach for that. Trust me, I understand. With my 3-year-long lawsuit against the public serpents in Orange County, I've got a whole playlist for you about that if you're interested. So I use cash as often as possible. I do not want to feed the beast of the cashless society. I did an entire video where I talked about the harms of that, such as, well, I think it's mainly because the government wants to control what we purchase, and they want to tax us. They want to get their cut. They want to limit what we can purchase and sell. So I don't want any part of that, right? I want to be able to give $5 to a neighbor child who wants to help me with a few errands. That's how I like to do it. Well, with inflation, it's more like $20. And I want to be able to buy something at a garage sale, and these kinds of things where I'm using cash as much as possible. It's a simple thing that you can do. And that's how we stand against the tyrants who want to take our cash away. All right, going along with the tyrants wanting to do away with service-oriented jobs, I never, ever, and I have a feeling you're probably this way as well. And if not, what in the non-spinning world? I never use self-checkout. I don't care if I'm in a hurry. I don't care if there are no other check stands. I will go and wait for someone, even if there's only a self-checkout. I will say to the person, would you ring this up for me? I don't know how to do it. I am not going to participate in the self-checkouts. First of all, I don't get an employee discount, all right? I'm not an employee. Why should I be doing their work? And I'm not one who is going to point my finger at all the greedy corporations being the cause of all of our ills. It's the government and evil that's the cause of all of our ills. There probably are some shady corporations, don't get me wrong. I know that there are. But I will say that this does put me in mind that these corporations want to boost their profits by not paying these employees. And it drives me bonkers. So whenever, and this goes into my next tip that you can do, whenever I'm in a public place like this, I start talking out loud to nobody in particular. And I will say, I'll make a joke and I'll say, hey, do I get an employee discount? Or, I can't do self-checkout. It's too complicated for me. I didn't go through employee training. Or, hey, can I get a badge with my name on it since I'm doing self-checkout now? And I'm not doing self-checkout, but I'll make these comments to nobody in particular. And that's a way of taking action. I believe that it plants a seed for people to start thinking and going, hey, yeah, why should I have to do somebody else's work? I think it's ridiculous. And I heard at Walmart that they are I might have to do another video on this, that they are getting rid of the self-checkout because there are a couple of things that are going on. Number one, there's a lot of theft. So there are, unsavory individuals that are trying to buck the system and get things for free, probably thinking that, Walmart's a greedy corporation. I'm not saying it's not, but they are stealing by just, not putting those things through the self-checkout. And then on the flip side, I heard that there are people actually being accused of stealing because it was the machine's fault. There was a woman who was trying to ring through a bag of Reese's Pieces or something, and she thought it did, you're ringing all your stuff and then you're putting in the bag. And she said, oh my gosh, I thought I did. Here, I'll just pay you for it. And they're like, oh, no, you have to come with us. We're filing a complaint. It's like, you got to be kidding me. So you're setting yourself up. And they also have a camera. Well, a lot of check stands have cameras. I don't care for that as well. I wear my hat and I wear sunglasses. I don't want to have my iris scanned or anything like that at these places. So as much as possible, no, not even as much as possible, don't do self-checkout. I don't do it. And I won't shop in places where they only have that. Some of you told me in airports that they have stores now where you walk in, you have an app on your phone, you scan it as you walk in. It's like an Amazon shop or something. And you go through and you take whatever you want. And as you walk out, the scanner automatically scans everything that you have and they take that money out of your account. I'm not participating, just for the record. I would rather go hungry, okay? I am not participating in the cashless and cardless and people-less shopping. I'm not going to do it. That's something that you can do. And if all of us refuse to do it, if everybody at Walmart said, crossed their arms and said, I'm not doing it, bring me a cashier, they would have to bring a cashier. So this is how we do it. These are simple steps. It costs nothing. And I did all these things today. All right. No self-checkout, went to the bank, used cash. And what else? Have conversations. That was the other one. Have conversations with nobody in particular. Now, I will also do this at the gas station. And, California has the highest gasoline taxes that are supposed to pay for the roads. And wouldn't you know it, California has the worst roads in the nation. My own personal experience, and I think they've done some sort of survey or whatever. So the roads are horrible. The taxes are not going to pay for those roads. And I will say this out loud while I'm pumping gas. I'll say to people, wow, if I was in Tennessee right now, I'd be paying $2 less. Or did you know that the reason why our gas is so high is because of the taxes that are supposed to go to the road? Have you seen how bad the roads are? I just start these conversations, friends. It costs nothing. Now, I know that some of you are not maybe as extroverted, or maybe you're worried about what people are going to think. And that's where my lovely Healthy American Karen with 2 R's came up with these cards. And I have them over at my Substack, peggyhall.substack.com. And if you are not subscribe to that, come on, friends, let's hop on over there and I'll show you right where it is. So this is it. And it's free. You go to peggyhall.substack.com and you can get your free subscription. And this is where I have the written analysis and links that I can't share on YouTube because YouTube might take my channel down and give me strikes if it doesn't like where I'm linking. So I hope it likes my Substack. So I have samples of these cards that Karen did on my Substack, and they're fantastic. They're conversation starters. There's information. You could leave your websites. A lot of people have printed out cards and sent information regarding my website, my YouTube channel. I even have cards on my website, which is thehealthyamerican.org, O-R-G, put in the Healthy American, singular, thehealthyamerican.org. And I've got business cards that you could pass out to people as well, and all sorts of cards, information cards. So I think this is such an important thing to do. You don't have to see anybody face to face if you don't want to. If you're at a restaurant, you could leave this, when you pay your bill, you could leave it in the restrooms. You could give it to people that you meet. I think it's a fantastic way of educating people if you don't feel like having a conversation. When I'm out in public with my husband, I often, like if I'm standing in line, the non-self-checkout line, I just strike up a conversation with my hubby and I'll start saying things out loud about the skies. I'll say, wow, I can't believe how bad they're spraying today. It's stunning that people think these are clouds. I'll just have these conversations out loud where people can hear me. I don't even have to have a conversation with them. And ideally, I've planted a seed. And guess how I feel? I feel empowered. I feel like I did something. I educated sort of, on the sly. And sometimes I am more bold in that. But if you're feeling a little reluctant, that's a way that you can do it. All right. Another thing that I do is I strive to shop local. And my sister, she was ahead of the curve on this one because she never shops on Amazon, has not for years. She will not watch Netflix. I don't have that either. And she just does not participate in these, mega companies. And she just will not support Amazon. She would rather get in her car, drive to the hardware store, buy whatever she needs rather than have it delivered the next day. And having so that's a way to do it. And even better, not only shop local, but small businesses. So are you going to go to the Home Depot or are you going to go to Joe's hardware store? I don't even know if that exists anymore. In my area, there's a smaller one. I think Ace Hardware is smaller and maybe they're locally owned or something, but it's just an idea to get you started. So rather than even eat out at the big chain restaurants, why not support the small businesses? I think it's fantastic. There are plenty of people that are offering services, products, all kinds of things that you can find out locally. And a good place, maybe these aren't all small businesses, but my friend Michael Seifert is running that app called Public Square, and I will have a link for you, public.sq. And that's where you can find freedom-loving businesses standing for freedom, family, and something else. And they're non-woke companies. So give your money to the non-woke companies. All right, I'm going to add another one in. It's not that easy, but many of you have taken the action of you're not going to work for these woke companies anymore. You've decided to terminate yourself from the woke place, as I call it, especially some of these, drug companies and the healthcare places. It's like you do not want to swim in that sea of evil. Many of you have voluntarily left because you don't want to participate in that. That's an action you can take. I cannot change Kaiser and its evil ways of how they discriminated against people, terminated people illegally, took away their medical care, took away all of the other rights that they had. And there were people that were definitely harmed in this. I have done so many videos targeting Kaiser in particular and exposing them and really doing what I can do to educate the employees and people that use Kaiser. I don't use Kaiser at all. I have here's another one. I don't use health insurance. I do a Christian-based health share. And I will link a video for you at the end of this one. Maybe I'll do an updated video for you all about Samaritan Ministries, which is where I do my healthcare. And that's one way that I do not participate in Blue Cross or Red Cross for that matter, or any of that. I'm not going to be giving my money to these big companies. So that's something that you can do. Shop local. I kind of got off track here. Help me get back on track, friends. I've got my list. Okay, so talking about going to local businesses and just kind of getting out of the whole big box, big chain. All right, a very simple thing you can do right now is to subscribe to this channel or resubscribe to this channel. Oh my gosh, so many of you have told me that you have been unsubscribed 3-4 times, and all it takes for you is to click the subscribe button and click the notification bell. Give it a like. If you can comment, share this video. That is a simple action that you can do to help me. I bring you these videos on a daily basis. It costs you nothing. I do run sponsor ads from time to time. And if you would like to see my videos without the sponsor ads, that's over at peggyhall.tv. So I've got my own private platform. It does cost me money to host all of those videos. I've got well over 1,000 videos. I've got videos that were my personal appearances. I've got Pastor David's sermons. I've got all of my Facebook lives and my Instagram lives that basically you can't access other than at peggyhall.tv. I've got all of the videos that YouTube took down, that Rumble even took down, videos that I've taken down because they were too hot for, the truth was too hot for this channel to handle. So if you would like to support me there, that is a dime and a nickel a day. That helps me pay for the storage of the videos and the customer service. So that's another thing that you can do is have these subscriptions. Also at the Substack, that is peggyhall.substack.com. It's absolutely free. All content is free to all readers. However, those of you that are a paid subscriber can leave a comment. And I had to do it that way because there were too many trolls that were coming across the platform since it's, I think I have like 2 million views on my Substacks right now, which is amazing. And I want to thank you for sharing those as well. And there were people that were just trolling the platform and not adding anything of value. I have no problem with a differing opinion as long as you're cordial and like rational and level-headed. And then there were people that were spamming that platform, doing tons and tons of links to other things that I couldn't even vet. So those of you that are a paid subscriber, then you have that ability to add a comment. Otherwise, you can add a comment here on YouTube for free. And also for all of my paid subscribers, whether it's peggyhall.tv or over at Substack, peggyhall.substack.com, you are invited to the monthly private live webinar. And that goes on for, oh my gosh, an hour, sometimes 2 hours, where we answer your questions in person. You're not on the screen, but I'm there, and my hubby, Pastor David, often joins me. And once in a while, we will have a special guest. We had my attorney, Nicole Pearson, and we talked a lot about what was going on in so many ways, what's happening in California, how we're fighting back. And that is a gift that I want to give to you for those of you that have supported me financially. If you have sent me a check in the mail, at Peggy Hall, that's at 205 Avenida del Mar, number 681, San Clemente, California, 92674, to my P.O. box there. And you want to also get the link to join us, just email my assistant, Olivia. The email is support@thehealthyamerican.org. And I tell you this, friends, because I want to give you all of the resources that I have available. We are standing shoulder to shoulder fighting this tyranny. And let me continue with some more things that you can do. So you're subscribed, you're linking, you're liking, and you're sharing. And then I want to share with you what Karen came up with in terms of what she is doing. She adds to this list, and she said, each citizen must engage now. Here's what you can do today. Fly our American flag every day. Let me know in a comment if you fly an American flag, if you have in the past, if you plan to, why or why not. I would love to hear that. I love going through the neighborhood and seeing the flags flying. It just, not that I give my allegiance to a flag, don't get me wrong, but it demonstrates to me that these are people that care about freedom, about truth, about liberty, about standing up for what is right, about acknowledging their rights, their God-given rights. So for me, that can be a very powerful image in my day. So you may have a different opinion. Love to hear it. She also says, check the tags, don't buy made in China. All right. That kind of goes along with not shopping online, but shopping in person and going with, small businesses. Support non-woke small businesses over the big box stores that stock lots of China-made items. I know that can be difficult because so many things are made in China and they're inexpensive, but I believe that it is important when possible to make that choice. And that's something that I am endeavoring to do as well. She says, carry your pocket constitution and memorize it so that you will be able to speak, intelligently and knowledgeably with others about it. All right. I'm going to be doing some broadcast on the Constitution because many of you have asked me for that. And one of the questions I had for you for your homework was, In the Constitution, which branch of government is described first, right? We've got the executive branch, which is the president. We've got the legislative branch, which is our Congress, Senate. And we've got the judicial branch, which are all of the courts, and along with that, prisons and so forth. And we also have a republic, the same type of constitutional republic in each of our states. Your state has a state constitution. And so it cannot defy the federal constitution. It can augment it, it can add to it, and different states have written them differently. But in the federal constitution, the first branch of government described is the legislative branch, because this is the only country, the only nation in the world that was created without a form of monarchy, without one person, or totalitarianism, without one person having that power over you. So we the people created a political system, a form of government whereby a legislative body makes the laws, not one person. And all of the tyrants over the last 4 years, and previous to that, I did my videos on Roosevelt and how horrible he was. There are plenty of horrible presidents who actually have tried to trample all over the Constitution by promulgating these emergency orders and so forth, which basically it's like totalitarian tyrants, right? A tyrant, the textbook definition, a tyrant is someone who uses power without authority. And tyranny is the system where power is exerted over you without authority. And that's what our Constitution is against. Over these last few years, you heard health officers telling you, giving you mandates. Well, a mandate is not a law. If it was, it would be spelled LAW. I've spoken about that for years. So we will do more of a breakdown on the Constitution. Many of you are asking that. It is something that I'm interested in. My background is in politics and all of that. So I've never been in politics, but my education is in political science, international policies, and all of that. So I'm fascinated by it. You don't need a degree to understand the Constitution. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying that by way to demonstrate that I spent a lot of money unnecessarily to learn these things. But you know what? The internet wasn't around back then when I was in school. All right, here we go. So the other thing that Karen says for us to do is we memorize that our rights come from God and not the government. Oh, I've got another video coming up for you about that, how they incrementally, right? Remember incrementalism? That's bit by bit. They try to erase our rights and manipulate the Constitution, manipulate the language. And I'm going to share with you what the Big Zero did, what this broadcaster did, and what Kamala Cackling Harris did, and what they said about our God-given rights. And this is how they do it. It's no mistake. It's done intentionally. And I know that you know that. She says, connect with like-minded Americans for support and stay informed. That's what we do here on this channel. I love that we have our Healthy American community. I'm grateful for you as a Healthy American who is subscribed and resubscribed, because this is where we can support each other and know that we're not the crazy ones. Sometimes, frequently I hear from my Healthy Americans who say that you're the only one in your family or in your community or at work that has the ability to discern truth from deception, and other people think you're kind of bonkers. So when you come here to the Healthy American, we know you're not bonkers. Well, I go bonkers sometimes when I flip my lid and have my rants. It's righteous anger, isn't it? So connecting with like-minded people is so important. Where can you do that? Well, you can do it here online. You can do it in our private platform where we answer your questions, your concerns. As I was saying, you're not on the screen, but you can interact in the chat. And it's a place where we can speak freely, no censorship. And it's a wonderful opportunity to connect with like-minded people, sharing emails and so forth. All of those meetings that we have, all of our get-togethers, our live get-togethers are recorded for you. So if you can't make it live, they are all there for you, for our subscribers and those who have supported me financially. She says, every day, point others to the truth of what we are facing. I think that's so important. And then she says, reject mainstream news. And again, I'm reading off a card from a Healthy American named Karen. I did a video for you. I will link it for you at the end of this one, where she is taking action by leaving cards like this for people. And she said, Reject mainstream news. Yeah, I call it the mainstream merry-go-round. And it's run by domestic communists. You know that. And by the way, I have a question for Tucker Carlson. Why does he always call our country a democracy? It's like he's stuck on that word for some reason. We're not a democracy, Tucker. We are a constitutional republic. And you all loved my video, my questions for Bobby. Yeah, he's still calling it a democracy. He says it's no biggie. Okay. Finally, Karen writes, no one can do everything, but everyone can do something. I love that. No one can do everything, but everyone can do something. God has called me to do these videos, and I'm grateful that you are here as a healthy American so that I can give voice to my concerns, my frustrations. I can share strategies, solutions, resources, remedies, tips, and techniques, and not put you in the spin cycle, right? I have the goal of getting you out of that spin cycle, of empowering you, of educating you, of encouraging you to take these actions. They're simple actions. They can be taken probably daily. And I can't wait to hear what other actions you have to add to this list. Remember, friends, I am marching this all the way to heaven, and I'm so grateful to have you on board as well. See you soon, everybody.